peeps, it's your favorite manifesting cousin, Neira, and welcome to the Manifest with Me podcast, where we'll be discussing all things mindset, manifestation, and money, with a little ratchet behavior in between from time to time. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to check out my website, www.neirathegoat.com. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Neira the G.O.A.T, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Neira_X. I also have a manifestation course that will be available soon entitled Manifest with Me, Where Thoughts Become Things. This is the absolute ultimate manifestation course where we'll go over paradigm shifting, overcoming limiting beliefs, going over what manifestation actually is and how it works. I'll also be helping you to understand your relationship with money and so much more. This is perfect for anyone who's just coming into the awareness of manifestation or for those who may feel a little stuck in their journey. Pre-sale is officially available and the link will be in this episode's description. I'm so happy that you've decided to take a moment to listen to this podcast. And at the very least, I hope you're able to pull out some gems. And if nothing else, I hope that something that I say at least makes you smile. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. Hey peeps, it's your favorite manifesting cousin, Neira, and I'm back at you with another podcast episode. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Today we are going to be talking about self-sabotage and how to move past some of these self-sabotaging behaviors. I know personally in my life, I've struggled a lot with self-sabotaging myself in many things, sometimes in my relationships, at moments in my career, and I have been teaching myself how to recognize some of these behaviors and patterns and how to push past them. So, if you follow me on social media, if you follow me on Instagram right now, we're actually reading a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. And we read the first scroll, there are 10 scrolls in it. We read the first scroll on habit every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Instagram Live. In the book, you're instructed to read each scroll for 30 days, 3 times a day, before going on to the next scroll. So I have a July reading challenge where we're going over the first scroll, which is about habit. And as I was meditating on, the reading today, I realized there's a part in it that says, pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing, the only difference between a successful person and a failure lies in the difference of their habits. Good habits are the key to all success. Bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. And I've really been contemplating because I've read this book many a times. I think the first time I read it was in 2012. So I've read it many times. The Scroll on Habit, I've probably read the most because I always start and I quit. But this time, I really have been contemplating on my habits and areas of where I can be better in my life. And something that I kind of had an epiphany about today was your bad habits are more than likely equal to some self-sabotaging behavior that you do or behaviors that you do. So for those of you who don't know, um, self-sabotage occurs when you destroy yourself physically, mentally, or emotionally, or deliberately to hinder your own success and well-being by undermining your personal goals and values. A lot of the time, self-sabotage is known as behavioral dysregulation and can be conscious or unconscious depending on your level of awareness. And I feel like for me, I'm a pretty self-aware person, So one one mm, um one way that I am like known for self-sabotaging myself is procrastination, which I think a lot of people can relate to. Some people self-sabotage looks like overeating or scrolling on social media too long, or it could even develop into some sort of self-harm. It could get that serious. But for me, I really resonate with procrastination. Like, it is just, child, I don't know why I feel like I have all the motherfucking time in the world to do everything. And the reality is, you just don't. And the reality is, too, the life that we live, the breaths that we breathe, we're all here on borrowed time anyway. So it's very selfish to wake up every day and feel like you're always going to have another breath. You're always going to have another 24 hours to get shit done. So that's something that I've really, really, really been trying to work hard on within myself. And of course, like whenever you're trying to, sit back and think about your habits, the good ones and the bad ones, and which bad habits are tied to self sabotaging behaviors, you have to ask your question, like, you have to ask yourself the question, where does this come from? Like what is the root of this? And I feel like for me, I've been through many scenarios in my life um where I just have a really hard time trusting people. And it's kind of like a mixture of me having a hard time trusting people and then also having a hard time trusting myself, because I have a tendency of sometimes being so free with my trust that sometimes I give it away to the wrong people and I'm a little naive. And then once I get hurt, then it's a problem. And then I find myself, when I get into a new situation, being afraid to trust and almost unsure of my own judgment, which can cause problems. So I have that, and then I have my own like issues that I've had to overcome and still overcoming with my own self-worth and confidence. Many of my friends can tell you, like, I've always been this really bubbly person. I was in talented drama from middle school throughout high school. I was a cheerleader. And if anybody's been following me, you guys know I kind of have a little bit of a personality on social media, and I've been on reality TV. And one would think, maybe from looking at all of those things, like, oh my God, she's so confident. She's so this and that. But there was a lot of like negative programming that I had growing up, from my environment, from people that I was around, that often caused me to question all of those things that I see that are great in myself. One could possibly think, like, oh my gosh, she's so confident, she does all these things or whatever. But what many people don't know is I've had to endure a lot of situations in my life that have caused me to question all those things that are great about me. So I have to overcome negative self-talk like everybody else, but I mean, for me, it is a constant, never ending. I can make all the affirmations in the world, all the sleep hypnosis in the world, and I still have to work really, really, really hard to get past a lot of negative self-talk that I have about myself. And I think I kind of know where like this hypercritical voice comes from. Um and I know that it's not true. So I work really hard to move past that, but it's definitely not easy and it takes a lot of work. So I do believe that for me, a lot of my self sabotage does still come from some things that are unconscious, but glory to God, I've come into this level of self awareness where I'm at to be able to kind of push past it. But there's good news in it all, is the more that you become self-aware about these things within yourself, the more um the more that you can kind of look into how to fix it. And I would like to share some of the ways that I push past my own limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors, and I'm hoping that it could be helpful to you too. So I just try to do my best to prepare to win. um when you have a vision or a goal in your mind, like, you have to have something that you just sit back in your bed. If you've gotten a desire to create a business or to go after a certain career path, or you have this desire for what you want your spouse and your partner to look like, what you want your family to look like, what you want your home to look like, whatever that desire is. For me, it's like I try to hold on to that vision as tightly as I possibly can. And one, I commit to myself that I'm going to win no matter what. No matter what the shit looks like, I'm going to win. And there are times where it's hard, believe me. But I'm committed to winning, and in order to win, you've got to prepare to do so, right? So um I've for me, I've realized like I can make these audacious and super big goals, but what works best for me is chunking that out day by day, what that looks like. And listen, I'm a fucking geek. Like I love ink pens and stationery and highlighters and shit. So like when it's time to buy my kids school supplies, I get excited because I buy me more office supplies. But I get a planner every year, and I get the ones where like your day, there's like enough space to write bullets of what you're gonna do throughout the day. And I literally have to plan my day the night before, and I'm not perfect. So sometimes it's the morning of, but I plan all of the things that I want to do, and I have to go and highlight everything. And I don't, it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And it also allows me to stay on track of what it is that I need to do. um, so I try to set smaller goals and a smaller to-do list so I don't feel so overwhelmed. And then I just try to knock the shit out. And now that I am branching more off into my entrepreneurial journey, from the experience that I gained from my previous company, I have a better idea of how I need to plan my day as it relates to content creation and the actual copy that goes with it, the actual editing time that I need to do things. So I kind of have this little system that I've created, that's been working out for me. And maybe you should try that with your shit too. Another thing that I try to do is pay attention to like my five senses. Well, but before we even get to the five senses, I like to pay attention to my thoughts. And I have adapted the theory that I am not my thoughts. Like, I think I read somewhere recently, we have like 65,000 thoughts that go through our mind in a 24-hour period, or in the amount of time that we're up in a day or something like that. And I could totally be fucking those numbers up. I could. But like, even if it was, let's just go for fucking 65,000 thoughts a day in a fucking 12-hour period, right? That's a lot of goddamn thoughts. And some of that, is actual stuff that's true, things that you have to do, people you have to meet, places you have to go. But a lot of that we know is just bullshit. Like I know you guys have seen the little Instagram reel or the little TikTok video with the girl laying in bed and her thoughts are just going crazy. She's like, do, do I need a BBL, or do I need a BBL? Do I need to walk my dog? When's the last time I paid my electric bill, or whatever the case may be? Like, we get all of these random ass thoughts. Some of them are useful and helpful, but most of it is just junk. And whenever you're taking an inventory of what your thought life looks like, you have to, one, understand that you are not your thoughts, but two, you have to really pay attention to where these thoughts are coming from. And that's where I kind of get into being mindful of your five senses. So, in order to prepare yourself to win and to be able to kind of break away from these self sabotaging behaviors and bad habits, you got to pay attention to your five senses. What are you reading? Like, what are you looking at? What are you watching on TV? What are you seeing in your environment? What are some things that are not serving you that you have control over not doing? Because sometimes, if you grow up in a household, and this is just a hypothetical example, if you grow up in a household and there's a lot of bickering and arguing, and you're a child, you can't control that. You're not old enough to leave. You can't really control that. But when you become an adult, you have the control over what you watch on TV. Do I watch a lot of reality TV where there's a lot of bickering and arguing and stuff like that? You've got to be mindful of what you're taking into your five senses. The other sense is, what are you listening to? The type of music you listen to, the type of conversations, and your other five senses is taste, but we'll just talk about you talking. So, what are you listening to? What are the types of conversations you're hearing and engaging in? Are they serving you? Are they serving your highest good? Are they getting you closer to the goals that you want, or are they hindering you? And more than anything, like wasting your time. Are you just wasting time? Just talking shit, having these meaningless conversations that aren't beneficial to you or the other person. And then you also have to pay attention to the things that you eat, your diet, how you sleep, how you rest. All of those things play a part in our thought life and how we are experiencing this 3D world, right? Um, and the next thing that I kind of try to be mindful of is taking action. For me, one of the best ways to combat the procrastination, self sabotaging behavior is to just get up and go and fucking do something. Go move your body. Get up, go exercise, go for a walk. Get up, go record a video, go put you some goddamn makeup on, girl. Get up. Like, procrastination, you know you're procrastinating because 9 times out of 10 you fucking sitting your ass down somewhere or you're laying in the bed. Get the fuck up. That is a sure way of stopping it right in the middle of doing it. Just stop and get up and go and find something the fuck to do. Even if it's washing your dishes, even if it's wiping down your damn baseboards, whatever it is, you've got to get your mind moving. You've got to get your body moving into something else. And something else that they kind of mentioned in The Greatest Salesman in the scroll on habit is only a habit can subdue another habit. So if you're recognizing that one of your self-sabotaging behaviors is procrastination, the only way to break the habit of procrastination is by creating a new habit. And in order to create the new habit, it doesn't even have to be the same thing every time. But the new habit for me is getting up and doing something else to kind of get my mind back on track, back into the momentum of staying on track and staying focused on what my goals are. The reality is we are the only thing standing in the way of us being successful. Our habits are the only thing that are standing in the way from us being successful versus being a failure. That's it. I get it. I'm black. I'm a black woman in America. It's fucking hard. But it's not only hard for me, it's hard for fucking everybody right now. And I can't allow all of these external things to be the reason why I can't have this or the reason why I can't do that. We all have the ability to take control of our lives. And on this journey, this spiritual journey, this journey of life, this journey of manifestation, you've got to be able to take full accountability for yourself. And you've got to have these hard conversations with yourself. So if you haven't already, you should get you a copy of The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. It's literally in my top 5 favorite books that I've ever read in my life. It is a book that I revisit all the time. And I think I even think that it's so important that they put habit as the first scroll for you to have to read and commit to, because honestly, it really is the key to success. And we all are in charge of our habits. Like I said, we can't blame our lack of not being, doing, or having on everything around us. At some point in our lives, we have to take accountability for the role that we play in it all. And the beautiful thing about life, but also the shitty thing about life, is God's given all of us the position to be a co-creator and for us to have the free will to figure out what it is that we want and what it is we want our lives to look like. So if you haven't already, go ahead and pick you up a copy of The Greatest Salesman. I'm definitely not getting paid by anybody to talk about it, but it is my favorite book ever. And I really plan on reading the rest of the scrolls on my Instagram live. So if you haven't already joined the crew, get you a copy of the book and meet me on Instagram live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not able to get the book, it's available on YouTube. You can listen to it for free. And the scrolls, you can download them. You can download the PDFs from Google for free as well. But yeah, I just wanted to share those things with you because so many of us are being held captive to the life that we have because of the current habits that we have, because of the fact that we haven't decided to divorce our self sabotaging behaviors yet. And some people really are just not even really aware because, again, self sabotaging behaviors can be conscious, but they can also be unconscious. So I wanted to create this episode for us to all take a deeper look into the things that we're doing that we may not even realize that we're doing that are hindering us from us being our greatest selves, our highest selves. And my goal again with this podcast is to inspire, encourage you, but also be your accountability partner in life, right? Because manifesting is not just all about thinking positive thoughts. This journey that we're on most of the time is us having to unlearn a lot of the shit that we've been doing for years and reteach ourselves the way to properly go about navigating this life. So, I love you guys so much. Thank you again so much for listening. Please share this episode with a friend. If you felt like it was helpful, leave me a little 5-star rating or some comments. If there's anything that you want me to discuss on this platform, feel free to email me at info@neirathegoat.com or hit me up on my DMs on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. I love you guys so much. Sending you all peace, love, and light. And always remember, what you're seeking is seeking you too. Happy manifesting. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you are still interested in signing up for the Manifest with Me digital course, pre-sale is still available. I will link the website in the show notes. If you can, please give me a 5-star rating on this episode. I love to hear your feedback. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, send me a DM. If there's something that you want me to talk about, I'd be so happy to do that. Peace, love, and light. Happy manifesting.